Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at AQA Alevel Psychology 2018 Paper 1 Exemplar Answers for Social Influence, which you need to know for AQA Alevel Psychology. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Please note that these answers have been produced with knowledge of the mark scheme but have not been approved by the mark scheme themselves. There are 3 assessment objectives, AOs, in psychology. In this video they are color-coded. AO1 Knowledge, purple. AO2 Application, blue. AO3 Evaluation, red and green. Question 1. Outline what is meant by agentic state as an explanation for obedience. 2 marks. When a person acts on behalf of an authority figure or person of higher status, the actor feels no personal responsibility and does not feel guilty for their actions. The opposite of an autonomous state in which people act according to their own principles. Jenny is a psychology teacher who works with 6 other teachers in the department. Jenny believes strongly that homework should not be graded as it distracts students from reading verbal feedback on their work. She would like her colleagues to stop grading work. The other members of the department do not agree but have told Jenny they are willing to have a meeting about it. Question 2. Using your knowledge of minority influence, explain how Jenny might be able to persuade the rest of the department to accept her view. 6 marks. Social change occurs when whole societies, not just individuals, change and adopt new attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors through minority influence processes, e.g. when a minority view challenges a majority view and is eventually accepted as the majority. Jenny is the minority, and 6 other teachers are the majority. Jenny has to connivance the 6 other teachers that homework should not be graded. In the beginning, the 6 other teachers believe that homework should be graded and therefore the group norm between the teachers is to grade homework. This means that the 6 other teachers will be influenced by normative social influence to grade homework or risk social rejection from the group, which leads to informational social influence, as people want to be right. Jenny should use consistency, commitment, and flexibility to convince the 6 other teachers that grading homework is a bad idea. Jenny should be successful if Jenny stays consistent and does not deviate from her message that homework should not be graded despite social pressures. Jenny should start by trying to gain support and form a community with people who have the same or a similar belief. This will show the 6 other teachers that this viewpoint is something Jenny truly believes in and has believed in for a long period of time, for example since she started working at the school. Jenny should show commitment, augmentation principle, by putting her at some risk or inconvenience to show that they were willing to make personal sacrifices to the cause in order to get their message across to others. This will help Jenny to convince the 6 other teachers to listen to the message and draw more attention to the cause. This could be done through a variety of methods such as protests, marches, strikes, lobbying, boycotting, and campaigns. Jenny should volunteer her time to answer any questions from teachers or parents about the system, and Jenny should volunteer to show teachers how they can assess where students are without grades. This will highlight how she truly believes in her message. Jenny should show a degree of flexibility and should be willing to adapt and listen to valid and reasonable counterarguments. Instead, Jenny should compromise by stating that it will only be homework that should not be graded, tests and mock exams still could be. This will make the 6 other teachers listen and take the message seriously and will make Jenny seem less rigid and dogmatic. Over time, the other teachers will start to internalize this message. This will act as a snowball effect, slowly and gradually gathering momentum and members until there becomes a tipping point and the minority becomes the majority and uses the social pressure of normative social influence. This then would have resulted in social crypto-amnesia, where people are aware change occurred but forget the origins of the original viewpoint, mostly likely because the individual had held negative views of the belief which they have now adopted. Instead of identifying with the minority group, individuals will dissociate the minority views from the people who promoted them. The other teachers will have a memory that it was previously socially acceptable to grade homework, however they are unaware of where this view changed because they did not agree with Jenny's view. Not grading homework will become a social norm. More and more of the other teachers will start to conform with this viewpoint to avoid the risk of social rejection and fit in. The other teachers will start to believe and agree that not grading homework is a good idea, with those who chose to grade homework facing the risk of social rejection, as their behavior violates social norms. Eventually will lead to informational social influence, where the rest of the teachers finally internalize the beliefs of Jenny as a result of wanting to be right. As time moves on, more of the teachers will know about the positive impacts that not grading homework can have on the students' performance. The other teachers will become convinced by evidence, research, data, and statistics, and therefore their views and opinions changed. Over time, dictators, government lawmakers, through power and authority, have created and changed laws and rules on education, e.g. exams are sat at the end of the year, not throughout. This will make not homework more of a social norm and lead to groups of people changing their behavior and beliefs because of the fear of punishment and consequences of not obeying. Question 3. Psychologists investigating social influence have discovered several reasons why people conform. Discuss what psychological research has told us about why people conform. 16 marks. Psychological research has provided 2 explanations to explain why people conform: informational social influence and normative social influence. Informational social influence, ISI, is about information and a desire to be right. It occurs when an individual accepts information from others as evidence about reality because humans have a need to be accepted, but also the need to feel confident that their perceptions and beliefs as right. It can occur in situations that are ambiguous, where it isn't clear what is right, where decisions have to be made quickly, where an individual cannot rely on an objective test, comparing against facts, or where one person or a group is regarded as having more expertise. It is associated with internalization, where an individual changes both their public behavior and their private beliefs on a long-term basis. An individual's conformity in public behavior and private beliefs is the result of an individual adopting a new belief system because they genuinely believe that their new behaviors and beliefs are right. A strength of ISI is that there is research to support the idea that people conform for a desire to be right. Jeunesse, 1932, conducted a laboratory study to investigate whether individuals will change their opinion in ambiguous, unclear situations in response to group discussions. Jeunesse found that nearly all the participants changed their original answer when they were provided with another opportunity to estimate the number of beans in the glass jar. On average, male participants changed their answer by 256 beans and female participants changed their answers by 382 beans. Female participants conformed more. The range of the whole group went from 1875 before discussion to 474 afterwards, decrease of 75%. This is a strength because it suggests that people conform to be right. However, a limitation of Jeunesse research is that the study lacks control over extraneous variables. The study was conducted in a group setting, where individual differences, e.g. personality traits and external factors, could have influenced the results, e.g. Ask, 1955, found that students were less conformist, 28%, than other participants, 37%. Perrin and Spencer, 1980, found that in approximate 400 trials only 1 engineering students conformed. This suggests that students conform less than other subgroups of the population. This experimental flaw meant that Jeunesse was unable to identify specific extraneous variables, which may have impacted the results. A control would have allowed Jeunesse to isolate key factors that determine conformity rates. This is a limitation because it suggests that Jeunesse study cannot draw valid conclusions on conformity, as the lack of control over extraneous variables makes it challenging to isolate the specific impact of the independent variable on the participant's behavior accurately. Normative social influence, NSI, is about norms and a desire to behave like others and fit in with a group. It occurs when an individual goes along with the group majority without them personally accepting their point of view, because humans are social species and are believed to have a fundamental need for social companionship while fearing censure and rejection. It can occur in situations where an individual feels they are being observed or are under surveillance from a group, in unfamiliar situations with people known to an individual as individuals are concerned with the social approval of friends, in stressful situations where an individual has a need for social support, or in situations where the norms are unknown and individuals look to others for a reference of how to behave. It is associated with compliance, where people change their public behavior but not their private beliefs, and identification, where people change their public behavior and their private beliefs when in the presence of the group on a short-term basis. An individual's conformity to the majority position publicly without internalizing the viewpoint or carrying over the same behavior to a private setting is the result of an individual conforming to be accepted and approved by a group because it is socially rewarding and an individual need and desire to avoid social rejection and disapproval. A strength of NSI is that there is research to support the idea that people conform in order to fit in and avoid social rejection. Ask, 1951, conducted a line judgment study to investigate where her people would conform to an obviously wrong answer. He found that on the critical trials, about 36.8% of the participants, over a one-third, conformed to the clearly incorrect majority proportion of critical trials when the participants agreed with the Confederates' wrong answers. This shows a high level of conformity, called the Ask effect, the extent to which people conform even in an unambiguous situation. 75% of participants conformed at least once during the experiment. 25% of participants never conformed. 1% of incorrect answers were genuine mistakes. 0.7% of participants gave incorrect answers in the control group. Most participants said they conformed to avoid rejection, NSI, and continued to privately trust their own opinions, compliance. This is a strength because it suggests that people conform to avoid social rejection and fit in with a group. However, a limitation of ASCA's research is that the study lacked control of extraneous variables. The study was conducted in a group setting, where individual differences, e.g. personality traits and external factors, could have influenced the results, e.g. McGee and Teven, 1967, found that students who were N-affiliator, people who care more about being liked and have a greater need for social relationship, were more likely to conform, and therefore the desire to be liked underlies conformity. For some people more than others. This is a limitation because it suggests that one general theory does not cover the fact that there are differences. Despite there being research evidence to support both NSI and IS, it is unclear which one can be used to explain the results of different studies or behavior in real life. For example, Ask, 1955, found that conformity is reduced when there is one dissenting participant. The dissenter may reduce the power of NSI, because they provide social support, or they may reduce the power of ISI, because they provide an alternative source of social information. Both interpretations are possible. Therefore, it is hard to separate ISI and NSI, and both processes probably operate together in most real-world conformity situations, which suggests that the distinction between ISI and NSI might not be useful. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.